Hello, everyone, and welcome in to all beautiful souls out there. It's your favorite grief and burnout coach, Princess Millens, and you're listening to the Restore My Soul podcast, the podcast that helps women push through grief and burnout so that they can experience health in every aspect of life. In this space, you will hear personal stories, practical information, and expertise from myself, along with my special guest. We do not offer medical advice, but women can learn to heal by creating a mindset to grow past their grief using biblical principles. No matter if the loss is from death or divorce, there is hope for restoration. So let's push through grief together, one episode at a time. So I have a special guest today, the CEO of S. Motivates, Shamarcus Nimmer, and I have had the pleasure of listening to his story and how he is able to motivate others. One of his daily messages really encouraged me, and he was talking about how small victories lead to big victories in our life. So I had to bring him on to share a little of his story and elaborate on how we use these small victories to our benefit in our healing journey. Let's go. I want to welcome Shamarcus Nimmer to the podcast today. Shamarcus is an entrepreneur who teaches financial literacy and banking strategies to obtain financial freedom, and is a podcaster and inspirational speaker, especially for our youth, and teaching them how to turn their grief into greatness. He is the founder and CEO of S. Motivate, and Shamarcus inspires, and I know he absolutely loves his work. He is a devoted husband and father, y'all, and loves to help people, and such a positive person and a wonderful personality. So welcome to the show, Shamarcus, and I'm happy to have you here to add value to the conversation about processing grief and getting to our personal victories. So let's dive in with the first question. I was thinking about this whole show and what I was trying to convey to the audience, but I want to start off by asking you, what is one personal experience you've had with grief or burnout, and how did you overcome it?
First off, let me say thank you for that great introduction. Like I don't know nobody to do one like that. Like that one felt good. Like I had to stick my chest out a little bit. Like man, I did a lot.
Yes, you
But
did.
man, thank you for having me. And about your question. So actually when I speak to youth and young adults, the first thing I say is there are going to be things that happen in your life that are out of your control. The only thing you can control is how you deal with it. And when I do talk about that, I talk about how on February 13th, 2005, I lost my mom from a heart attack. What people don't know, a lot of people do know that. What people don't know is that Monday, right before Thanksgiving of 2005, I lost my dad. So I moved to
Wow.
Texas. That's why I'm in Texas. I moved to Texas to get close to my dad, and he passed away along with kidney cancer.
Wow.
So the grief thing, oh yeah, I know about it. And that's why I feel like I'm probably one of the best to actually talk about it and know how to overcome it, because as far as being a younger, like I wish I would have had someone that could have told me, hey man, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
when I was doing it, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was drinking, I was doing all of these things to try to cope with the things that I was going through. And I didn't have anyone that I could really just relay or even conversate with to say, hey man, that's not going to be the right way. Granted, you may feel that's the correct way to do it now.
Yeah.
However, it's not going to be the right way. Trust me, I know. So that's why I take a different approach to when I do talk to the youth and young adults, because I did it. I remember I was drinking water. I mean, I was drinking liquor, and it started feeling like water.
Mm.
That's how bad it
Wow.
was. But the thing
Yeah.
was, again, it goes to having someone to actually reach out to that has went through the same things or more than what you're going through, because they're going to be able to tell you, hey man, that's not the way to do it. These are some other things you can do, because we know that grief is going to be there. It's going to happen. It's the inevitable. But the
Yes.
thing is how you deal with whatever it is that you're going through. And I hope I didn't go too deep. Hope that was a good enough explanation to
Yes, it was. Yes, it was because even as you were sharing, that kind of took me back to through the process of when I lost my mom, and even when I lost my son. Our response in how we handle grief and the importance of reaching out to people that may can help you, and that's one of the things that I didn't do, and I know to do now, but I didn't do it then, and it brings such hardship, I think, to you when you don't reach out. And then what we also have to understand that grief affects every area of our life, not just the emotional and the mental side, but it affects us physically and financially and spiritually and socially, all of these things. But I want to ask you a question. I know you're a financial guru, and I want you to explain some of what you've seen as a coach or even as a family member of how grief affects us financially, and how do you think that even affects our youth?
That's a really good question. So I'm a go straight surface, and then we could go deep if you want to. So the surface is um it's not free to bury you. Let's just start it just like that. It is not free. Ain't nobody
It
you gonna have
certainly
to
is.
do like some GoFundMe's or something like that. So the first thing I would say is it's something that a lot of us as Black people don't talk about
Yeah.
is insurance, life
Yeah.
insurance.
Wow.
I actually have my life insurance license now. And the reason why I have my life insurance license is because I'm seeing, if you go on GoFundMe right now in any state, look who's gonna pop up. Us.
Wow.
And the reason why it's us is because we wasn't taught the right way how to look at life insurance, right?
Yeah.
There's so many different avenues. We're not going to go into it, but there's so many different avenues that, like, life insurance is good. A lot of people don't understand, like, it's not even that expensive, right? It all depends. And I always tell people, you're the youngest that you'll ever be today, right now at this moment, period. So that's the time you get your life insurance. I don't care how old you are. The thing is, you don't want that burden to go onto your family, because now, not only did they lose you, now they trying to struggle and get money from here and there. Now they're losing their self as well, because of the simple fact you didn't do whatever it is that you were supposed to do as that person while you were here. Like,
Yeah.
if I was to leave right now,
Yeah.
today, if God say, hey, Shamarcus, good job, Will, good job, son, come on, my family's gonna be good, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And I know this because I do have a life insurance policy. Like, and it's not going to make up for me, but it can make up for some of that hurt. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's
A
right.
lot of people don't think about that. And I try to tell as many people as possible, like, hey, get that. That's the first thing you want to start off with. You know what I mean? You want to make sure you have something. And I'm
Absolutely.
not saying $10,000. I'm letting you
Yeah.
know $10,000 ain't gonna do nothing.
I
That's
know.
barely might put you in the ground. It might get you cremated or something like that. But I forgot, I can't go too deep. But
Heavy
um
on might.
might Mitte. You know what I mean? But the thing is, like, we're not taught that. And I'll say that. I wasn't taught that. I know I wasn't, but all the stuff that I'm learning, I feel like it's not for me just to have. Granted, my son is going to know how to trade stocks. He's going to know how to trade cryptos. He gonna know what cryptos are. He gonna know all of these things. He gonna know about life insurance. He gonna know that life insurance, if something was to happen to daddy, that money is tax free. A lot of people
Absolutely.
don't know that.
Yeah.
But he's going to know all of these things, and I feel like my son should not be the only one that knows that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you were asking me, hey, Shamarcus, what's the main thing? Is it's money. It's money. Make
Absolutely.
sure you have something,
Yes.
and if you do the other side of the coin, when you do stuff that's not legal, still make sure you have some money for that. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, hey, no one's here forever.
That's right.
Nobody. So the you gonna leave. You gonna leave. But the thing is, you don't want to leave having your family having to do all of these things when you could have done it. Basically, I hope that wasn't too deep. I try not to go too deep into stuff. I try to.
No, that's actually a great angle with that because a lot of people don't realize that. And I realized that we have more in common than I thought, Shamarcus. I am a licensed agent as well. I don't talk about
Really,
that side of me,
I
but I
don't
do
either.
have life insurance. That was the first thing. And then just having that information to pass along to our family and our friends around us because we do see the GoFundMe accounts, we do see all of these other things, but we also have to, like you said, look at life insurance and things like that in another perspective. And nothing will replace you, nothing will
Nothing.
replace me, but it leaves your family in a better position when you are not here. I know that was really true for my son as well. Nothing will replace him. And I remember he was in the military, and the military officer came by and he told me everything. But I was like, I just want my son back, you know? And I know that was impossible, but the financial side is key because not only the the process of trying to figure out how you're going to bury your loved one, sometimes grief itself, it causes you to overspend, to spend out. Even if you get that life insurance, grief will cause you to spend every penny of it on frivolous things, and I know that for a fact as well. So, I just want to kind of put it out there for the listeners to know that grief, burnout, stress, all of this. It affects more than just our emotional and our mental health. It affects every single area of our lives, and we have to make sure that we get the information, the practical information that can add value to our lives and our family lives, right? But this is what I heard you say on one of your broadcasts on YouTube, and you were talking about victories and small successes, and you said a small step to you may be a huge step for someone else, right?
Yeah.
And I thought about small victories. Small victories are powerful. And I know a lot of times we're going through the process of grief, no matter what has happened. We not only grieve when we lose someone, we grieve when we get a divorce, we grieve when we lose our jobs and we don't have any income, things like that. But small victories can be powerful. And this is what you said. If we continue to add up these small victories, right, then those large victories will come. Can you add on a little bit more to that as far as how we should perceive, even when we're going through grief, how should we perceive that as victorious?
So, um, dang, I didn't first. Let me see. I didn't even know you listened to that, but hey, thank you.
Yes, I
Um,
do.
but it's to your question, the small stuff. Like we're accustomed to having the big things, right? We're accustomed to Amazon Prime. We're accustomed to getting it 2 days, right?
Oh, wow.
If it's not in 2 days, what? I don't want it. I'm not buying it. Blah blah. Let me return it. All of these things. But when it comes to grief, it's the little things. Like I'm I'm gonna be transparent. The first time I actually went and saw my mom's grave, that was a that was a huge step for me, right? But for someone else, it would have been a small step, right? Because
Exactly.
they've done it before.
Yeah.
So the small step to someone else or a small step to you would be a huge step to somebody else, right?
Right.
Now, my small steps, which are I go every time I go to Arkansas, I go and see my mom's gravesite. It's a smaller step for me, right? But if you would have asked me this in 2005, 2006, that would have been a huge step. I because
Wow.
a grief, um, it's different and it hits people different. And I'm gonna be 100 with you. You're not gonna know how um, you're not gonna know how you're gonna react until that time comes.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
I don't care who you are. I don't care what any I'm telling you from experience because that is a difference. You don't know how you're going to react to that. You know what I mean? You're not going to know what kind of mindset you're going to have. That goes back to having the right people, as we talked about, having the right people in your corner, because whenever you're going through grief, right? You're going to think you're the only person that's going through that. I could be
Absolutely.
wrong, but
That is
I know
it.
when I was going, I'm the only person that lost my mama at the age I was
Absolutely.
at. I'm the only person that's doing this,
Yeah.
but it's not that. It's someone else has done that. As a matter of fact, I met someone and me and him was having this conversation, and he was telling me that he had lost his mother, and I was like, well, let me tell you something. And I told him everything like I just told you, and he was like, wow. The thing was, my small steps now are
Right.
huge to him,
Wow.
all
Yes.
because I went down that road. I've
Yes.
already done those couple of things, those couple little things that you have to do. Like
Yeah.
for one, you got to look at self. At the end of the day, you have to look at self. And I always think about this whenever I'm talking about my mom and stuff like that. My mama raised the person that she needed to raise,
Yes.
right? In
Hmm.
order for me to be wherever it is I am at. In order for me to be the stronger person, it just didn't start right then. It started with the upbringing. So even when I think about all the things that I missed of my mom and everything like that, I always think about you raised me. You did what
Yeah.
you're supposed to do. Like you put this structure in place, right? So now when I go back to all of those small things, those small victories, they actually come from her, from learning all of
Yeah.
these things. You know what I mean? So again, what you said was right. The small things, you have to put them on top of each other though.
Hmm.
And I always think about building a house. If you look on the side of the house, a real brick house, you're gonna see nothing. You're just gonna have to lay those bricks. You're not gonna look at, oh my God, it's gonna look amazing. No, you lay brick, lay brick, lay brick, lay brick. After a while, you stand back. Now you got a whole house. And
Absolutely.
I hope that went too. I try not to go too deep and stuff, you know.
No, that's okay. This is exactly what the audience needs. And as you were speaking, I totally agree. Our struggles and our process, our journey is not only just for us. We take those small steps and we meet somebody, and we do fall in that trap to say I'm the only one, right? I'm the only one that's going through this. I'm the only one that's lost my mother. I'm the only one that's lost my son, right? But we'll find other people, and those people are strengthened by our testimony, by our journey, the things that we can share with them, the things that we can use to encourage them as well. And I believe that when we encourage other people with our testimony and our journey, that means we're encouraging ourselves as well. So that those small victories uh, is really for real huge at that point, because now I can really talk about it. I can share and I can bless somebody else, and that's all is I think this all is it about, just blessing other people, not suffering. Let the life, if it's grief according to someone passed away, that let their life be a legacy. And the legacy is, and then someone told me this when my son passed away, if they never say his name again, that means he's died twice. So let our loved ones never die again. Let the memory, let the legacy continue, that we continue to share our story and call their names, right? And so that other people can be blessed by it. Other people can be blessed. And I think that's a great um definition of what success can look like in our journey. In our journey. And I'm just going to end with this. I know we have a few more minutes, but again, I heard this that you said this one time, is that you can see your day as success or failure. Success or failure. But it's all up to you and how you see it, right? So, as I end with that statement of the great Shamarcus Nimmer, where he said on his inspiration, he really does give inspiration, y'all. You got to check him out on YouTube. But as I say that, just give some final words that you want the people to know, and also tell them how they can contact you or connect with you on social media.
Okay. If you don't listen to anything else I say, nothing from here on out, know that whatever you're going through is not for you. Never is. God is only putting you through that because you can handle that right now. And there's going to be someone else that's going to come behind you that's not going to be as strong as you are at this particular area. And they're going to come to you and be like, how did you, how did you, how did you? And you're going to be able to say, well, it wasn't easy, but this is what I did. So remember, whatever it is you're going through, I don't care if it's divorce. I don't care if it's losing someone. I don't care if it's whatever it is. It's not for you. It's not. Nothing we go through is for us. We might think it's for us at that particular time, but it's really not for us. It's for someone else. And the only reason why I said you're going through it is because you can handle that. Even though you might think you can't, God ain't gonna put more than you can bear. And I was always taught this when I was growing up, and I feel that. I At the time I did not want to hear those things. Did not. Nobody does.
Nobody
You
does.
don't want to hear that. No, man, you been going somewhere else with that. But those are some true statements,
Yeah,
because if you look at 2 years ago, the worst thing that you thought happened, it's probably not worse no more. Or if it is, it's not as bad. I'm getting through it, or I'm going over it. So I know I'll be going deep, but just know that anything you're going through, it's not for you. Also, the I always say this. It's all about perspective. It's all about how you look at stuff. You can look at stuff one way, or you can look at stuff the other way. And I'll give you an example. And I've said this in one of my videos. You can be running late, right? Running late, you can spill coffee on yourself. Spill coffee. Now you got to run back in the house, get you a whole nother shirt, and get to work, right?
absolutely.
Now you're like, oh my God, I'm so late. I'm so late. I'm mad. And you're driving, and you can make it to a stop sign, and someone else runs the stop sign, bam, and get hit, right? So
Yeah,
you can think, oh my God, me, I'm late. However, perspective, if I hadn't wasted my coffee, that could have been me.
absolutely.
So it's all about perspective. You can have a great day, or you can have a bad day. It's up to you to look at that day. And I hope I'm not going too deep, because I just be
You are
going.
right. You are right. Tell everybody how they can follow you on social media or how they can reach out to you.
You can reach out to me through her. She know how to get in touch with me. No, I'm joking. She does. But Shamarcus Inspires on Instagram, Shamarcus Nimmer on Facebook, www.s.motivates with an S at the end.com. I'm always here. I'm always open. Like, it is what it is. Also, YouTube. I think it's Shamarcus Inspires on YouTube. Yeah, I
It
think it is. Shamarcus Inspires on YouTube also. I need to put some more videos up now that you made me think about that, because I'm running
That's
low.
right. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I want to thank you again for joining me today. I know that the audience has been blessed by this conversation, that we are continue to add value to, um, let people know that it's okay to grieve in their way, as long as they do it healthy, in a healthy way, and we can do this together, right? So I just want to thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you again soon, hopefully.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Let me encourage you today. We often fail at things because we try to do it in our own strength, and we try to rely on ourselves, our own selves, to do things that is impossible for us to do alone. And because we know that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us, the things that once were impossible, they are now possible. And we see our victories in a new light, because it is God who is fighting for us every battle, every circumstance, and every situation. And we can rest in the fact that we already have the victory, whether they be small or big victories. Deuteronomy 20:4, it says, "For the Lord your God is he who goes with you to fight for you, to give you the victory." So we can find encouragement through his word that there is no battle that is too hard, or that he will not go before us to fight for us. Let that sink in. We don't have to fight alone. So, in our emotional healing journey, let's celebrate the small victories, because, as Shamarcus said, they lead to the big victories. Amen. May God's grace over you abound even the more now. And thanks be unto God who gives us the victory through our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I am so glad that we had this conversation about small victories, because they are often overlooked in the grand scheme of things. When we are grieving or when we are struggling with burnout, sometimes it's hard to appreciate the small steps of progress that we make, because we think that it's not big enough. Well, I'm here to tell you, every step of progress that you make is worthy to be celebrated. And it is in the small things that we begin to see the big things that we are accomplishing. Don't look at your life as a failure because you're not all healed in one day. We have to see success in every small step of progress, because it's all up to us and how we choose to use our perspective. So keep pushing, keep growing, and keep celebrating those small victories. With this, we have come to the end of today's episode, and I hope you had a great time listening. I want to thank you all for joining me right here every Friday at 6 p.m. So be sure to leave your reviews and tell me what struck you most about this episode. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss out on any new releases. Also, please just share this episode and this podcast with as many people as you can so that they can join in on this Restore My Soul movement. And then lastly, I invite you to follow me, Princess Millens, on all social media channels. Well, that's my time, and I will see you in the next episode.